Speaking of our Tua and the Dolphins had to put Xavien Howard on the physically unable to perform list. Apparently, that knee thing was not just a routine cleanup; it was more serious than we thought.
That's not great, though.
It's not great, but not a big deal. Here's why you do that. It happens all the time. And basically what they do is say if you know he's going to be out a couple of weeks, right?
Yes.
That means you
can
put
have
him on the
there.
IR. You can put him on the IR and carry another guy on your roster.
Yes. You can have him on there until week 1. If he's on there still week 1, he has to miss 6 games.
Right. But you can do that and then carry the guy on your roster.
What I would ask, though, is he's 26 years old. According to the Herald, he is, and Adam Beasley, he's missed 24 games because of knee injuries over his career. Is that a case where you have this guy signed? He has the second largest cornerback contract of all time. He was awesome.
Number 1 is on the other side.
Yep, number 1's on the other side. And they drafted a cornerback in the first round. Now, we have no idea how good Noah Igbenogany is, but is it a concern where you're like, all right, if Xavien Howard does have any nagging things come up this year, are you worried about what his Dolphins career is going to be? Because he's only 27. I mean, he's not old.
Right. I would say this, and here's where people lose sight of it. You're looking at a $70 million contract. It's not a $70 million contract. It depends on how much the guaranteed money is and how they can work it and stretch it out or whatever, however the contract is written up. But there is no need at this moment to rush him back.
There's really not.
There's no need to rush him back. I would say that by the time the season starts, he's going to be limited anyway.
And it's not even a position where like you need to have chemistry with anybody, is it? Like it's not like a lineman where you want him out there to build cohesiveness.
It's more right, because each game is different. So from that standpoint, if he were to come back, say week 2, depending on who they were playing, that game plan and who he was playing across from would matter more than what you have done. But defense have plays too. They have things that they work on, just general stuff, basic stuff. Techniques and stuff like that. So, he could be sometimes cornerbacks get themselves in trouble because of their body position, not necessarily because of their ability. And that's a lot of the things you see them working on in camp is that, okay, the turning and running, when to do that, when you feel that you're getting run by, right? That's kind of how that works.
Yeah, well, not fantastic, but not dire yet.
No, it's not like when it used to be when you heard IR, dude was done for the year. It's not like that anymore. Now they do it to give them another roster spot until he can come back. And if you're not gonna rush him, right, you don't even have to risk it. He's on IR, so he's just gonna practice.
He according to this, he's running at full speed, but he hasn't done DB drills yet. Yeah, he hasn't been cutting,
turning, forward, back. Yeah.
But they did say that it wasn't just a cleanup on his knee. Like it was a little bit more serious than that.
Well, yeah, because it's been 8 months.
Yeah, I mean he only played 5 games last year.
So more than that.
Crazy.
So yeah. It could all right. I'm guessing it's probably little meniscus.
I don't know.
That's a good one for them out there. Know if it's torn. Meniscus or cartilage or
his dead cap number this year. He's making $13 million this year, or his cap hit is $13 million. He's making 11. He's making like $12 million, but his dead cap is 20. Next year it's 6.7, and then they have an out in 2022. Where their dead cap would only be 2.8.
I like when Leroy tries to act like he knows what he's talking about. Really?
That's rude.
I have no idea what I'm talking about. None.
Bro, you ain't no expert. What do you know about football?
So think about this, dummies. Right? Say they didn't want Xavien Howard anymore. Right. It's not the case. If they didn't want him anymore, basically they would go upstairs and talk to their Ellisberg, and they'd ask the question that Tobin just brought up. What's his hit against the cap? Okay.
Yeah, he ain't going anywhere this year. He's
Not
probably
this year,
not going anywhere.
but guess what? For
Probably not
13
next year
million,
either.
for 13 million, right? Not the worst thing can happen. So, and that's how athletes, that's how football players think. Could they get rid of me? Oh, my hit's only 5 or 6 million. Even though I was guaranteed 40, or, yeah, man, that's how it works. That's the nature of that game.
So, there's one thing that I wanted to ask you about. So, everybody does that thing where they're like, could this college team beat this NFL team? The worst NFL team, could it beat a college team, right? And that's the thing. Everybody says no shot. Why have I heard some analysts say that Tua this year is going to have a worse offensive line than he would at Alabama? That sounds unbelievably dumb to me. You're telling me that five professional offensive linemen are going to be worse than what he had at Alabama?
Here's what I'll say about that. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they don't mean worse. They probably mean less connected.
Well, or they're going to be going up against better defensive linemen than he had to go up against at Alabama.
No, but I say it from this standpoint. One thing that you deal with when you're in college is continuity. You always have continuity at various positions that require it. So when you think of your offensive line, those guys are going to get guaranteed a minimum of 3 years together, right? When you think of the NFL, though, right? The NFL, sometimes you spend a couple of years trying to get that unit together. Mm-hmm. So from the standpoint of being better, no, absolutely not. But on a football field, looking better because they're always on the same page and they look better working together, yeah, but that's different.
Yeah,
I don't care.
But to your point, they're facing like in the NFL, like these guys are just facing better competition. Like,
yeah, if you brought Alabama's offensive line here and had them go against the beast that they got to face on a weekly basis from the worst
they get smoked.
NFL teams, they get smoked. Absolutely. So I think what they're trying to say is not necessarily from the talent level, but just from a cohesive level, just from a knowing what each guy next to you is going to do because, you've played with those guys. And the offensive line for the Dolphins, wait, do we actually know who the starting five is yet?
I think
no.
All right, fair,
you can't.
no, but I feel like we have a good idea of what they would want to work out with.
Yeah, but having a good idea and them not practicing yet is like, yeah,
totally fair.
I could see why somebody's saying that.
I thought when they drafted Dieter yet last year, like Wisconsin interior offensive lineman, I'm like, that guy's gonna be great, and he couldn't get on the field. By the way, I think they're moving him to center.
Okay.
So let's see.
Oh,
hopefully
somebody
it works out
said
for him.
the stupidest thing on the show was Leroy thought chickens could hatch from egg cartons. That's not what happened.
Great segment.
Great segment. All timer.
That's it. Right. Come on. I mean, yeah. So better. No. Not
because that's what they make it sound.
absolutely.
But that's what they make it sound like. They make it sound like Tua's getting a downgrade in offensive line, and to me that sounds stupid.
Okay, but that's why you have to use the big side of your brain and figure it out.
Because people say these things, and I'm like, well, hold on. That makes it like everybody always says, don't have the audacity to say that any college team could beat the worst NFL team. So no
chance.
No chance. So why?
It'd be at least minimum. If you take the worst against the best, minimum. Any team in the NFL against Clemson.
I feel like
minimum it'd be a 2-touchdown spread.
I feel like it would be less outrageous to say, okay, maybe Tua had better weapons at Alabama. Maybe you want to say that. I'll hear that out. But offensive line.
Well, what I'll say is this: is when you have 3 first rounders playing wide receiver, you are in effect playing with NFL players.
Right. So I'll hear that out. I'll allow that. But to hear
you're also playing against, like in college, hold the ball till a guy gets open. In the NFL, you have to throw a guy open. So there's a lot of things that both parties have to learn. But there's nobody in the NFL facing DBs that Alabama faces. Right? The DBs in the NFL are much better.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
you're not putting $150 million on your cornerbacks at Alabama. Well, maybe they are. Who knows what they're putting under those briefcases?
Right.
Let's get to this. So Adam Gase yesterday, top bum, had to address the media. All right.
Why? Why do they do this? Why? Dear New York Jets. Why?
Well.
Oh, camp started, right? Did camp start for them?
Camp's technically started, although Flores hasn't talked yet. But the Jets did. He spoke via conference call. And
they're like better him than us.
Yep. And so Adam Gase, he said that Jamal Adams, he didn't want to be here. So why am I going to worry about it?
I mean, every situation is different with every player, and for us, we always look at it as we want guys that want to be here. And obviously, he didn't want to be here anymore. So the decision was made to move on, and that's what it's a team game. I mean, we got a bunch of guys that are excited to get going, and those are the guys that I'm going to focus on. And I'm extremely fired up to get this roster that Joe D and our personnel guys did a great job of assembling this offseason. And from the conversations that I've had with a lot of guys, they're extremely excited to get this thing rolling.
Yeah, who are those conversations with? Is that with your boy Fales? Is David Fales excited? Like, does anybody ask him? And I know I'm not calling out the New York media as being soft because, listen, they asked him if it was justified that he got fired by the Dolphins. So I know that they bring in the onions. But does anybody ask him, how come it seems like a lot of people just particularly don't want to play for you? They're all getting paid handsomely, but somehow a lot of people who are quote unquote your best players, they don't seem to like to play for you. Here's a little bit more of top bum Adam Gase, fresh out of under the bridge and has a new cardboard sign. He was saying that what Jamal Adams said about him not addressing the team at halftime, baloney.
As far as the alleged addressing at halftime, I mean, we had 2 times in the second half of the season that we were down. One was the Cincinnati game, I addressed the team at halftime, and one was the Baltimore game, I addressed the team at halftime. So, one game he was in the training room at Cincinnati, the other one he wasn't playing. So, I mean, it's hard for me to answer a question like that when I know the correct answer.
All right, here's the thing. He's a liar. This is how I know he's a liar, Leroy. Too many details. You broke down the games you talked at halftime, and you knew exactly where Jamal Adams was. You know what that means? He has done an investigation into this. Top liar. Is there a problem? I think Leroy's puppy's having an issue. Too much lying going on there, Robbie. You came with too many details. You know how you almost have to come up with such a crazy story to cover up your lies? That's what Adam Gase just did there. He goes, well, we were only down at halftime twice over the season, and I only addressed the team when we're down, and I happen to actually have the locations of Jamal Adams. If you see here, we've checked the security tape. Nah. Seems fugazi to me. I can't buy it. You're a liar.
Yeah, he has way too in-depth details on what happened.
You just say, here's what you say if you're Adam Gase, all right? You want to lie properly, be like, I don't know what he's talking about there. Not true. But what you do is you try and make Jamal Adams seem like even more of a liar. So what you say is, well, I've only been talking at halftime twice all year. It was the Bengals and Ravens, and I happen to know where he was at the exact date, exact time. I have it time-stamped. We have the security footage. Here are the facts. Nah. Going too in-depth to cover your tracks. Top sign of a liar.
Should you even know that when you're mostly the offensive coach?
Exactly. Shouldn't know that. Shouldn't know that.
By the way, dog started crying like crazy, like yelping.
I heard him.
Right, you heard him?
Yeah.
He crawled under the couch. But here's the deal. He's growing.
He's too big.
Right. So he's crawling under things he can't get out of.
Oh, no.
So Oreo goes behind our bed and sleeps back there.
Yeah.
So Zeus follows him. We have to lift the it's unbelievable.
You got a puppy proof, man.
How you puppy proof?
I don't know.
He tried to crawl over the couch with this much room.
I got a beef with ESPN.
You got a beef with
Did
everybody.
they make another list?
They did not make a list. They did something yesterday I find beneath a place that is supposed to be the worldwide leader in sports. We'll get to that next.